everyone's looking for the young guy. They're looking for McVay. I think take a shot out Todd Bowles, get him a second shot at head coach, and see if he can do it.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
It's crazy. And our kids will know how great Tom Brady is because he's going to be playing.
Yes, it is 15.0%.
That's what the Yankees brought Garrett Cole to do.
He was a 6th-round pick. This is a fairy tale story that's being written in front of our eyes.
People like to call them their JV team, and they just stole one of their better players.
They didn't struggle against the Padres. The Padres didn't really put up a fight in most of the games.
Jerry Jones, hope you're listening.
Hi, I'm Landon Bowe, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. Week 1 is done. Some teams are 1-0. Some teams are 0-1. That's just the way games go. And now, is it important to start 1-0? I like the man that also has his opinion on this is Austin.
Yeah, so this really comes about because there are teams that are good that we think are going to make the playoffs, that are going to be great, and lose in week 1. It happens to a lot of teams, and a lot of teams go on to do great things with it. It's just how important is it? I would say that it definitely matters, but it's probably the least important week of the year.
I think that's a great way of saying it. I was listening to Troy from Monday Night Football. He was talking about, he's like, it feels very important. And he was saying it was important, but to me, it feels important because there's been this whole offseason of moves, such as the Falcons making a ton of moves, and then they lose in week 1. To me, it's not as important because it's just one game. There's no prior games. You don't start on the right foot because that would be starting 1-0. But to me, it feels like it carries weight, but it doesn't actually carry weight. I would say week 2 and week 3 carry more weight, given then you're in an 0-2, 0-3 spot. But just losing one game, especially if you're a team like the Ravens or even the Ravens lost. Yeah.
Are you saying because they lost to a good team, or are you saying?
Well, just like their team that's competing for an AFC spot, and they lost to the Chiefs, who are a very good team. And I'm sure this is for multiple, like other teams are facing this, but I'm using the Ravens as an example that they can still win. Bad teams, good teams. Last year, I think the Chiefs were not playing well, but even great teams, they lose 3 games in a season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best example for me is the 2020 Bucks. They lost by double digits to the Saints in game 1, and everyone was panicking. Oh, Brady's washed. Oh, this team's not going to be good. They lost to the division rival. How are they ever going to win the division? How are they going to win the title? Well, they didn't even win the division. And at the end of the day, they went 11-5 and won the games that mattered and won the title. I mean, there are going to be growing pains with any new system. There's no reason to panic after week 1. No reason at all. There's no reason. You could lose by a lot of points and it wouldn't matter to me at all because it just is how things happen. There's just times where you go.
Well, yeah, and it's just you're still figuring out, especially if you're a team, I would say the Falcons that made a lot of moves, there's that cohesion. It's the first time it really matters, especially with teams not playing in the preseason anymore.
Yeah, another good example for me is the Packers in 2021. The year they went 13-4. Yes, they lost in the divisional round to the 49ers, but they went 13-4 and were easily one of the best teams in the league. Week 1, Kevin, they lost 38-3 to the Saints. 38-3. Blown out. They were then 7-1. They went from 0-1, losing by 35, to 7-1. So I just don't see it as something that is the most important thing in the world. Again, that Packers team was amazing. And, Rodgers won another MVP. They won a lot of games. However, It doesn't matter if you lose week 1. Like, yes, it is not completely meaningless. But in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't matter all that much.
Yeah, that's a good point. To me, I really like the idea. It feels like it matters a lot because we just haven't had football. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's one game. You can figure it all out. How do you feel about it? Feel like you can feel the weight of it almost as a fan, especially given the kind of talks of I would just take the Cowboys since they're 1-0. If they lost, I'd kind of be feeling a little bit distress mode, like, oh, all the offseason stuff. But since they won, there's kind of the idea of, oh, no, it's not going to bother us. So there is also some false confidence in winning just the first week of the game, first game of the season.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I definitely feel like for some fans, it can feel like it's important. I don't necessarily think that I think too much into that. Like, I don't losing to the Eagles for the Pack. I'm more worried about the Love injury. Like, that matters, obviously. But if we're just talking about what happened in the game pre his injury, that none of it was making me worried, even if we did lose. It's a little bit sloppy, but week 1's supposed to be that. Like, if there's any week you're going to be sloppy, it's that one. So I definitely can live with it. I definitely feel like fans should calm down a little bit when their team loses and give them some leeway because, again, it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah. One loss does not destroy a season, especially early in the season. So, yeah, we're kind of at the thought it doesn't really matter. It's nice, and to me, it gives like a team confidence, but you're still a team and you're like, we know who we are. And that belief in your team. So, any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right. That is all we got. Thank you for listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.